Hey guys, welcome to my shop. My name's Jason. Today I'm going to be engraving glass tiles. We'll be doing it with a Shapeoko 3 XL CNC machine using a diamond drag bit. I'm fairly new to CNC. This is one of the easier things I've found to do so far. Doesn't take a lot of knowledge with CAD or knowledge with speeds and feeds and whatnot. It's pretty much a trial and error. The bit I'm going to be using is a diamond drag bit. It's pretty safe to use. You don't really have to worry about messing a lot of things up. You just may not get the results you want. So with that, let's just get into it. So basically what I've done up to this point to save some time, and this isn't a video on how to use software because I have to learn everything as I go, and that would take me forever. I'm nowhere near the expert. The software I'm using is Vectric V Carve Pro. In my opinion, if you don't have any experience with any sort of CAD or Photoshop or anything like that, you can learn it, but it might be a little bit more difficult. When I bought the Shapeoko, obviously it comes with Carbide Create. It's fairly easy to use, but it just didn't have all the features I wanted. Vectric V Carve is excellent. So let's get into it, and I'll show you what I've done so far. So on the screen you'll see the name Jones. Basically what I did was I created my project with a certain size boundary. That boundary was set by the size of the glass I'm going to engrave. Set a second boundary, which is the offset that I want it from the edge of the glass. Through all my calculations, I determined that that should be the exact spot to where my bit does not hit my hold downs. I'll come over here and show you the bit. Basically the way this works is this bit gets chucked into your router or whatever you're using as your spindle. You do not turn the router on. It's a drag bit. It simply drags across the surface of whatever you're using. The tip that I have in there is a 120-degree tip. It has a 5/1000 diameter line, or I guess we'd use the word diameter, and it's got an industrial diamond tip. The way this works is, in your program, you set it to an engraving path, and you tell it how do you want the letters engraved. You want them just outlined. You can fill them, you can crosshatch fill them, you can do a number of things, and then you have to tell it how much pressure do you want it to put on that piece. Now, through trial and error, I've determined that this glass tile generally does pretty good at about a 0.350. And what that is 0.350 of an inch. This bit will go up to 1/2 inch of travel. As you can see, it's spring loaded. Once you hit a 1/2 inch, it bottoms out and you're putting maximum pressure, and you'll end up breaking things. So as long as you don't put it past a 1/2 inch, you're pretty good to go. The thing I like about it is it's real forgiving. If your board's not perfectly flat, you're good to go, as long as you're not too close to that 1/2 inch, because it's still going to give when it runs over a spot that's not maybe exactly flat, as long as it's not a divot where the bit can get stuck. So what am I engraving the glass for? Well, we like to make little projects and try and sell them online, make a little extra cash. So we found that personalized things, especially with vinyl, do very well. So my wife does the vinyl, I'm doing the glass. And as you can see on this one, it is kind of hard to see, but the etched name in the back, and then on the front is some decorative vinyl. And people can just use this to display or however they want to do it. So that's what we're going to be making. As you can see, I have a piece of glass in there. At this point, I have not zeroed out my machine yet. I have not set it to the glass. I'm fixing to do that. My hold downs, they suck. They're made out of 3/4 inch plywood, and I seriously need to redesign the way I've done this. That being said, I make it work for right now, and until I figure out exactly what I want by making all the mistakes that I need to make, I'm going to keep using them. So far, I haven't had any total catastrophes. Ran a V-bit across that one, but hey, it's a piece of plywood. You can get another one. So anyway, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero out the machine and then we're going to start cutting. And just real quick before we actually get started, I don't know how well this is going to show up. I'm not a professional filmmaker, guys, so give me a little space here. I'm going to show you real quick my settings. If you look right here, I've got my tool selected, which is this drag bit. Underneath that, I have my pressure setting, which I decided at 0.35 is perfect for this glass. I've chosen to give it fill, but I want straight lines running completely horizontal. So I've given it a 0-degree angle, which gives me a horizontal hatch basically, and which is basically fill. On the bit, I've selected my feeds and speeds, and for the glass it seems to do good at about 100 inches a minute and 50 inch per minute plunge rate. I'm sure I could ramp that up a little bit. The plunge rate, man, I'm sure it makes a difference, but I guess if you plunge too fast, maybe you could break the glass, but I seriously doubt it. But 50 inches a minute has been good. RPM obviously doesn't matter. So what you see on the preview for the toolpath here, get a little closer, you'll see that it's got lines. Well, it's going to engrave every single one of those lines, and then after that it's going to run the outline for the letters. So you'll see that while it's cutting. Almost forgot to get my super scientific bit zeroing tool here. You'll see it here in just a second. So let's get this thing zeroed out. The machine is set to zero out on the bottom left hand corner of the piece. So let me jog it over there real quick. And what I'm going to do, see now the glass actually has a little, it's a very slight bevel to it, and it's going to be engraving only on the flat. So if I zero it out on that bevel, my 0.35 pressure isn't going to be really true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero it out right here, and then I'm going to drag it over to the corner, and it should already be zeroed. This right here is my super fancy zeroing tool. I wish I could get a touch plate for this thing, but I've looked and I'm not smart enough to make my own, and I don't see one that's made where I can just plug the thing in and go. So we'll give this a little wiggle until we get touched down. Almost there. A little too much. Perfect. Just slight resistance. Okay, now we can jog it over to that actual corner. And I don't know any other way to do this than just using my eyeballs. So that's what I'm going to do. Just put the tip of that bit right on the edge of the glass, basically. Take all day doing it 0.1 millimeters. And that is actually perfect. So let me set my zero and clear my offsets. Alright, and I believe we're ready to start cutting this bad boy. Load the project. And let's run it. So what I've just done is I've actually paused the operation. As you can tell, during that first pass, the hold down actually was hit by this part of the spindle. So what I'm going to do is I am going to temporarily put this one right here, since that's already been cut. and we will make permanent adjustments on the next tile. So that'll keep that held down for now, and then when I get to the other end, I'll pause it and we'll move that one too. But that's sturdy enough. Okay guys, well, as you can see, we had some adjustments to make on the hold downs. Apparently even this one was too tall after it finished, because it went back to home and it actually hit this on the way back. That's not a very good thing to happen, because I guess you could possibly break or bend something, your machine, your bit, whatever it may be. And as you know, the machines aren't cheap, and neither are the bits. But let's take a look at what it did. Let me get some focus here. So there we go. Jones. Take it out and show you in the light. There it is. Just slap some vinyl on there, and hopefully we'll have a happy customer. I think it turned out pretty good. So I'm going to make a few adjustments for the next one, and I'll actually I'll show the next one running with no mistakes this time, and we'll be good to go. quick question. Maybe somebody can answer this for me. I haven't really been able to find out, but does anybody know what the lifespan is on these diamond tips? So far, I've done maybe 6 hours total worth of engraving on granite, some aluminum, a little bit of steel, and then this glass tile. I haven't noticed anything. I've taken the bit out. I've looked at it under a loupe. It doesn't seem like it's dulled any. I know when I do my crosshatch stuff, that's the fill where you run your horizontal lines and then the vertical lines go back over it. It really kind of scares me because you can hear it hitting every single one of those lines. You know, people that make stuff to try to make some money and sell it, you obviously have to keep in mind the cost of your bits and stuff wearing out, and how much do you charge for your projects when you make them. So one of the things I don't know at this point is, you know, how long do these bits last? The replacement tips are what, $24 I believe, you know, plus shipping, unless you can find them on Amazon, but if you have Prime anyway. So if anybody out there knows what to expect for you know, the diamond tip life on these bits, let me know. I'd be curious to figure it out. Granite, glass, mostly. I tried some ceramic tile. I won't be doing that again. It doesn't really do very well, so at least not in my opinion anyway. But yeah, if anybody knows, just let me know. That'd be a great help to me. There we go. Bumped up the feed rates to 150 inches a minute because it seemed like 100 was just going a little too slow. And it actually looks like it's doing just great. See if we can take a closer look here. I'm not sure if we're going to get a focus out of this, but there we go. Pretty good. I love this thing to death. I could quit my job and stay out here all day and play with this machine. I don't guess my wife would let me do that. All right. Okay guys, I'm going to cut the video off for now. Made 3 of the glass tiles out of the 5 I need to make. I think y'all get the point. As you can see, it's a pretty easy project to do. You just have to make sure all your hold downs are out of the way for the bit. You have to make sure everything's able to move where it's supposed to move without getting pinched up in there, potentially causing damage to your machine. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching the video. I'm going to start recording just about every project I do, hopefully, time permitting, and maybe you guys can learn something, and maybe you guys can teach me something for the ones that already have this all figured out. So anyway, I want to thank you, and job done.